24-year-old Marine veteran Daniel Penny can be seen in this disturbing video restraining 30-year-old Jordan Neely, who was homeless in a chokehold for nearly 3 minutes. Sources tell ABC News Neely was yelling and acting erratically on the subway, but had not become physically violent. Other passengers are also seen holding him down. Neely was later pronounced dead at the hospital. The medical examiner ruled his death a homicide.
The individual who did this was to testify at some point to say I was in fear of my life, or I just wanted to end this situation as best I could. Those things matter. Those statements from the witnesses are really going to play a big role in this.
Attorneys for Mr. Penny releasing a statement Friday night offering his condolences for Mr. Neely and writing, quote, when Mr. Neely began aggressively threatening Daniel Penny and other passengers, Daniel, with the help of others, acted to protect themselves until help arrived. He added Daniel never intended to harm Mr. Neely and could not have foreseen his untimely death.
Justice for Jordan!
Protesters are now calling for Penny's arrest. Neely had a troubled past, including more than 40 arrests and a history of mental illness, seen here on the subway just days before he died. The incident renewing the debate over mental illness and public safety.
This man had a mental issue, and the way you handle that is not to put him in a chokehold and squeeze the life out of him.
A source tells ABC News the case will likely go to a grand jury next week in order to determine whether criminal charges are warranted. Monaco Sarabdi, ABC News, New York.
Hello, everyone. My name is Linda O'Neillafore. I am the author of a children's book titled My Brother Adam, A Journey with Schizophrenia, and welcome to my channel. Okay, and I did change the name of my channel. My channel now is My Brother Adam, Mental Health and Wellness. Okay, so today I want to talk about the video that you just saw. The gentleman's name in the video is Jordan Neely, and Mr. Neely was a Michael Jackson impersonator. He would dance on Times Square. He would dance on the New York City subways, and he was very talented, and witnesses say that he was very good at what he did. Okay, but there was a unfortunate situation that happened with Jordan. Apparently Jordan got on the train and he was yelling that he was hungry, he was thirsty, and he was saying something about he was tired of having nothing. And so there was a passenger on the train, Mr. Penny, who was a former United States Marine, and he put Jordan in a chokehold. Okay, and apparently Jordan died from being in that chokehold. Okay. So the video is very disturbing. There's a lot that, you know, I want to talk about this video, and I think it's going to be a two-part video. The first thing, though, is that I really don't believe that Mr. Penny intentionally meant to kill Jordan. I think that maybe he was afraid and he didn't know what Jordan might do. Another thing, too, is that, you know, I don't know if Jordan was really hungry and thirsty. He could have been having hallucinations. So, you know, we don't know. It's just an unfortunate situation that this happened. And so I think there's three questions here. The first question is, you know, how do we restrain the mentally ill? When do we restrain the mentally ill? And why is society so afraid of the homeless and the mentally ill? Now, you know, I can remember when I was about 17 years old, and I used to take the bus to work every day. And there was a gentleman on the bus, and he would talk to himself, and he would talk very, very loud. And he would just be talking to himself. For the whole route, he would just be talking to himself. And it was very scary. But no one put him in a chokehold. Now, they say that, Jordan was acting erratically, but he didn't attack anybody. And he didn't seem like he was going to attack anybody, according to one witness. So, you know, how do we um, restrain someone that has a mental illness? Well, you certainly don't want to put them in a chokehold and choke the life out of them, especially if he's not attacking anyone. When do we restrain the mentally ill? A lot of people are afraid of the homeless and the mentally ill. Now, maybe Mr. Penny thought that Jordan would just get out of hand and just start attacking people. Maybe that's what Mr. Penny thought, and maybe that's why he put him in the chokehold. But to put someone in a chokehold and to just, put pressure around their neck like that and kill them, that's just not how you restrain someone. Okay, now another thing too is that there's 70,000 people in New York that are homeless. 2/3 of those people have a mental illness. Now that 70,000 includes men, women, and children. I'm sure that there was a shelter there, somewhere where because I know at shelters they do give out food every day for the homeless. So it's very possible that he could be just having hallucinations. Now, Jordan, he was in a foster home for a while, and then his mother was murdered in 2007. And she was murdered by her boyfriend. Okay, and so after that, I'm sure Jordan went through a lot after that. And then her boyfriend killed her, and she died a really violent death. So, there's a lot of trauma there. This is the reason why, we need to educate. This video is the reason why we need to educate ourselves. We need to educate our children about mental illness. And another thing too is that society is really afraid of people that have a mental illness and afraid of people that are homeless. And they automatically assume that homeless people are either addicts or they committed some kind of violent crime. And which is not true at all. Anyone can become homeless. I could become homeless. You could become homeless. Anyone can become homeless. Now, there's more violent crimes committed on the homeless than there is the homeless committing violent crimes on other people, as you can see in the video. The video proves that. Now, there was a situation that happened in New York where a man was going around shooting homeless people just because they were homeless. So I'm going to be doing, my next video is going to be about the homeless because there's a lot that I want to talk about in regards to homeless people. So this was a very unfortunate situation that happened to Jordan. I believe that if Mr. Penny had been educated about the homeless and the mentally ill, I believe that that would not have happened. Because you just can't go around putting people in a chokehold, especially if they haven't did anything to anyone. So hopefully our schools will start educating our children when they're young, about mental illness. Um, and, I'm sure that maybe they don't see this type of thing often, where someone gets on a bus or a train and they're just talking to themselves. I'm sure that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen often, where the person is talking loud to themselves. Yeah, and they're just saying, what Jordan said. Okay, but I believe that through education, through education, we can really teach ourselves a lot about the homeless and the mentally ill. And I'm going to be doing a video about the homeless. My next video is just going to be about homeless people, because I think that our society just needs to know more about the homeless. We need to know more about um, people that are mentally ill and that are homeless. And so that's going to be my next video. Okay. So I will see you in my next video. Thank you. Goodbye.